Okay, we're joined by Dan Perry, an Israeli affairs analyst. He joins us from Tel Aviv. Dan, how are Israelis reacting to the Israeli army's expanded ground offensive into Gaza City? Is there widespread support, or is there now growing fatigue after nearly 2 years of war?
I'd say overwhelmingly the public opposes it. Not just the public, the military establishment and the army itself opposes it. Most of the business sector, academic community, the Israeli body politic is fed up with the war, completely in support of the aims of the war. I have to always underscore that. The idea of eradicating Hamas as a governing power and the military power in Gaza, and the notion that to do that would be a favor to the Palestinians themselves, that remains very strong. But there is increasing suspicion that the war is not being conducted in a way that brings about that outcome. Obviously, the way the war is being conducted entails tremendous reputational damage and other kinds of damage. We see now, given the steps the EU is considering, economic damage and other damage to Israel itself. Obviously, the situation in Gaza is catastrophic for the people there, and there's very little confidence in Israel that this is the way to bring back the hostages. Indeed, I suspect, and I think I know from talking to people and from all the polling I see, that most people fear, and the army is warned, that a ground entry into Gaza would risk the lives of the remaining hostages.
There have been reports of reserve shortages, a strain on Israeli forces. How is this prolonged conflict impacting Israeli soldiers, both emotionally and strategically?
Again, it's a complex answer because Israel is a complex society. Pretty much all of them agree with the goals of the mission, as I've stated. That has to be understood. But on the other hand, the support for the government and for its war strategy is diminishing, and the toll on the soldiers is unbelievable. I mean, consider that you're talking in many cases. I don't know the exact proportion, but let's say almost half, certainly more than a quarter of the soldiers on the ground in Gaza are reservists. And these are young men generally in their late 20s, 30s, early 40s, who have families and businesses and careers that have been totally upended by the fact that in some cases they're serving 200 days of reserve duty a year. Now I see on the screen the Haredi soldiers, Haredi community. These are yeshiva students, seminary students, ultra-religious people who refuse to serve in the army. And the fact that 80,000 potential soldiers from this community are basically AWOL and are completely uninvolved in the war effort is seen by the rest of society increasingly as brazen. And also consider the following. Maybe between 25% to 35% of the Israeli public supports the war as it's currently being conducted, give or take, depending on how the question is phrased. Well, the Haredi community is about a sixth of the country, which tells you, and all of them favor the government. I think you could say safely 95% or more. So that means most of the people that still favor the war are refusing to fight in the war. This irony, this outrage, is not lost on Israeli society, and some seriously toxic divisions are pretty much ready to explode.
Dan, thank you as always. Dan Perry, Israeli affairs analyst, joining us there from Tel Aviv.